Unboxing. And I've got some people with me today. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
I'm Andrew the Hedgehog Castley.
Gareth Taft Chambers.
Max Bowl.
And of course, Chris Turner, your local person of Athena as well. Also in the booth with us, doing our wonderful, wonderful technological stuff, is Mr. Baker.
Otherwise known as The Thing.
Otherwise known as The Thing.
Because all he is today is a disembodied hand.
We're going off Halloween here, let's go. We're going it.
Absolutely.
So, guess what released today? It's Heroes of the Resistance time.
My goodness, could it really be?
After all the upsets we've had with this dang expansion. First it was last week, then it was the week after, then it was this week, then it wasn't this week, but then it was this week. But we have it! It's fantastic! We've finally got this expansion, we are happy, we are saved, Rebels are happy.
Drum roll.
Hey!
Ta-da. Okay.
Cool. First thing I want to mention about Heroes of the Resistance. Finally.
It's been a while coming, hasn't it?
It's been so long. So many
I think
things.
it was even spoiled before Wave 9 spoilers.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we have been waiting months for this thing to even come out, and it's finally here. It's finally here.
No,
Well,
I
to be
spent
fair-
most of last night scouring the internet for a release date and couldn't find one anywhere.
Yeah.
But then this morning, posts went up everywhere, so...
Yeah, well, to be fair, most of the waves are fairly predictable when they come out, but if you regard Heroes of the Resistance as another Aces pack, all of the Aces packs have had a very long history of not appearing for a
This
long
is
period
true.
of time.
Yeah.
This is true.
So I regard this kind of as a Rebels 2, Rebel Aces 2, in which case, forming
So
not
technically,
appearing
this
for a
is
while.
It's the Rebels Veterans pack.
This is the Rebels
Yes,
veterans.
essentially,
yeah. Yeah,
almost.
effectively.
Almost. We don't
Yes.
want to say it actually
We're still
is.
holding out for some X-Wing buffs
X-Wing
at some
fixes,
point.
E-Wing fixes.
Yeah,
I'd love an
X-Wing,
E-Wing fix
E-Wing
as
maybe,
well.
yeah.
You know, that'd be great.
But in the
Let's-
meantime, this will do nicely.
This will do nicely for now. And what an expansion it is as well. Brand new Falcon, brand new T-70 as well. We have partially unboxed some boxes, but we've got a brand new unboxed one as well, so you can open it with us at the
Absolutely.
same time.
Absolutely.
So,
live on air.
Live on air as well. So, Hedgehog, that's actually your box. So would you like to finally rip into your box?
I've been waiting for this for
But we don't,
so long.
we don't have just one. Go ahead. No, you just go ahead.
We have many.
We have two! We
Ta-
have two!
Excellent. So let's have a look and see what's actually in here. You can see this is shrink wrapped. I haven't even taken the price label off.
At your local Athena Games for $36.99, or the local retail price, which is of your country, we should say.
Absolutely. And I think what we're going to do, we're going to just go through this, have a look at the new ships, the new pilots that are here, and the new upgrades.
And the new upgrades. Oh, I am
Lots
so
of new
excited.
upgrades.
There's
Plenty of
there
new
is a
things
nice
to do.
pile. There is a nice pile of
That's a bit of a
upgrades.
Absolutely.
We would also like to point out there is actually also in this thing a pun counter, as one of our members really likes to do puns. So, if at any point we make a pun, the counter will go up and you have to drink. It's also a drinking game, guys. Come
yeah.
on.
Could be very punishing, that.
And the counter's already at 1.
Excellent, excellent. Right, so we have ship. I'll move the boxes out of the way.
So, in this box, we have your two wonderful models, a brand new, remolded, recast, and completely redone Millennium Falcon, which is fantastic. I love it. As well as a complete repaint and slight remold of the T-70 model, as there is now a cute little BB-8 in there.
Absolutely.
It is the most adorable thing ever.
Yeah, and not just any T-70, it's Poe Dameron's personal black and orange T-70. And that actually plays a part in the game, as we'll see later.
I'm still a tiny bit disappointed with the droid on the T-70 because it's
not
just
like-
white. There's no painted detailing
Nah.
on there for BB-8.
But I
Not
suppose
actual
for
BB-8s.
people who like doing detail work and want a reason, thank you, Mr. Thing,
There we go.
for showing off. Here it is. That is the brand new if the camera, please, could you work with us today? That would be fantastic. There we go.
Focus.
There we go.
There we
Look
go.
at that.
There we go.
Look how pretty
Yeah.
that is.
Apart
It's-
from the droid just being white, the rest of it is very nicely done.
Yes, but for the people that are complaining that, they've repainted the thing, well, you've now got some work to do. You can paint those tiny little BB-8s on the top of the models.
Congratulations. Have fun.
Congratulations.
There.
They did some work.
Not that you see
They
many
do all the
people
work for
flying
you.
Poe Dameron
Thank
with
you,
BB-8 at the moment.
And also, Mr. Thing, if you would not mind showing off.
Let's hang
oh,
on.
we'll hang
shall
on.
we?
We'll,
Yep,
we'll hang
let's-
on. Okay.
So we've now taken a look at our T-70, the special black and orange one that's in there.
Yep.
So let's move on and take a look at some of the pilots that are in there, shall we?
So, in the Heroes of the Resistance box, you have your two generic Blue Squadron Novice and also Red Squadron Veteran.
Pilot skills 2 and 4, and the Red Veteran also comes with an elite pilot talent, which is pretty useful sometimes.
Very useful indeed.
Yes.
I like them. I mean, it's the bog standard T-70s. They have 3 attack each, 2 agility, 3 hull, and 3 shields.
Along with the much wanted boost action.
Absolutely.
We said this when the T-70 first came out, I think.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is fantastic. Finally, we've got a boost action on the things.
Worth noting, only the second Rebel ship to have a boost action as base. The Imperials have really had almost a monopoly on that, with the sole exception of the A-Wing so far, haven't they?
Yes.
So it was very welcome when it actually appeared. If nothing else, what that does give you is the ability to equip a key upgrade in today's game.
Yes, the elite pilot talents.
Auto thrusters.
Auto thrusters, yes.
Auto
Yes.
thrusters.
Why was I thinking elite pilot? No, auto thrusters. Yes,
completely different thing.
Because although I think they're trying to stay away from turret ships a bit more these days.
I more commonly see the integrated
they seem to be.
astromechs over the auto thrusters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you get a bit of a mix. Most people put the integrated astromech on because it's just such good value. It's an extra hull point for free as long as you've got a droid.
Yeah.
However, there is a key thing here. The more expensive the ship gets, the more you want to protect that
Yes.
ship. And I think Poe Dameron, for example, usually sees
Yeah.
auto thruster equipment.
Well, he sees a lot of things. I mean, let's
He
face it,
does.
the original Poe Dameron build was a way of him regenerating shields
Absolutely.
for the longest time.
Probably go through some of those in a
yes,
little bit.
Cool. So,
However, we also get 4 brand new pilots here. So they are in pilot skill order. Jess Parver, we're going to go through one of these apiece. So they are Jess Parver, which I'll have a talk about. Snap Wexley.
which is Max's choice of talking about.
Yep.
Would you like to announce yours as well?
Nien Num, who has a lot of interesting nuances, I think.
And finally, Poe Dameron, which is the most, probably the long-awaited Pilot Skill 9 Poe Dameron, but which I will be talking about and seeing if we can do anything brand new and interesting with him.
Absolutely.
So,
Start off with the lowest pilot skill. So first of all, we have Jess Parver, and if the thing will bring her up on the screen, that'd be much appreciated.
he is working on it, but while you're talking, let's go
Yep.
through it.
So Jess Parver is the lowest of the 4 new pilot skill T-70 unique pilots. She does appear in the movies, which is a great touch. I get the feeling when the original T-70 box set came out, they didn't know that much about the pilots that would be taking part. With the result that we got some very generic Red Ace and Blue Ace pilots. Now we've actually got some of the names, which is fantastic. So Jess Parver, one of those who took part in the attack on Starkiller Base, she is a pilot skill 3 pilot. Now it's unusual to come across low pilot skill named pilots. I think she's only the 4th, maybe the 5th in the game, something along those lines.
Close to that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll just run through the basic T-70 stats. I'm guessing most people watching this know, but just to make sure: attack 3, defense 2, 3 hull, 3 shield, boost, target lock, and focus action. And you get a torpedo slot, a droid slot, and a tech slot. So the brand new slot that's for the Force Awakens and onwards era ships only. Okay. So Jess is pilot skill 3, but her special ability is when attacking or defending, you may re-roll one of your dice for each other friendly ship at range 1. So, what that immediately says to me is that Jess is going to be very much a synergy pilot. She wants to be flying along other people, doesn't she? Okay. Now, it's worth noting again, there are limits to how good those rerolls can get. For example, you've got an attack roll of 3. There's no point in flying alongside 4 or 5 Z95 headhunters all at once, at least as far as the early game goes. So that might be handy later on once some of those Z95s have actually died. However, even more limiting, you've got that agility 2. Can be a range 3 for agility 3, can be behind an asteroid for range 4, but again, there's a limit to how many of those dice you're going to be able to re-roll. That said, though, she is only 25 points. And it's worth remembering that the generic Blue Squadron Novice, who's pilot skill 2, is 24 points. So what that says to me is Jess Parver is actually very, very good value for the price that you pay for her. Okay, no elite pilot talent slot, but for a point over the generic, you get that extra point of pilot skill. More importantly, all of those re-rolls. That's, I mean, if you've got a couple of friends beside you, that's effectively like having Predator, and that's before you've even actually got go onto the defensive re-rolls. And it's worth noting, defensive modifications in the game are a lot harder to come across than attacking modifications, and yet Jess has them here.
Yeah, it's basically a reverse Lone Wolf, as a pilot ability.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but also not limited. Lone Wolf is a single dice apiece at most.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's for each other friendly ship, so it actually rewards you flying formation. Flying, which we have not seen in a very long time. Most people generally go for the split up tactic, and I mean, obviously, back when jump masters were a thing, they very much either banded together or they had a
Still a little bit sore on that.
I think a little bit people are a bit sore on that one. But we're now maybe seeing the tactic coming back, being able to keep your groups together, going in as a single squadron and actually going together. Which rewards that as well, which is fantastic.
The loss of the Deadeye through the FAQ also means that you're not so strictly forced into being above Pilot Skill 3 just to be able to shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the other thing. Jump Masters were always Pilot Skill 3, which meant that if you wanted to shoot before the Jump Master killed you, you had to be Pilot Skill 4 or above. And now that pressure has been reduced, I think Jess has come out at just the right time for that to make sense.
It opens up the lower Pilot Skill pilots, and a lot of generics can be more openly played again.
Absolutely. Okay. So key things here. Range 1, though, you do have to be at least reasonably good at formation flying, just to make sure that she stays close enough to your friends, to her friends, so that she actually gets that reroll. However, it is worth noting that if any faction is, the rebels are the synergy faction, aren't they?
Yeah. They are very much the people that like working together. They have a lot of pilots that go, hey, I'd like to help you if you can help me. And I'd like to help you as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's worth noting that there are some very good pilots out there in the Rebel faction who have range 1 abilities, one of which immediately springs to mind. Who might just be flying alongside? Mr. Biggs. Yeah. That perennial target, the person you have to shoot.
For a relatively cheap one as well, you've got I forgot his name. Pilot Skill 8Z.
Pilot skill Kraken.
Aaron Kraken.
For shoots,
to give
gives
him
free
actions.
to allies in range 1.
Absolutely.
So something along those lines I mean, Jess doesn't need to take target locks so much, but
Absolutely.
Boosting for positioning and then still being able to get a focus off of that is definitely a thing.
Absolutely. So, I think Jess has a lot of possibilities
I
here.
think Jess has a lot of things, but let's move on to our next pilot, which is Mr.
It's Snap Wexley. Pilot skill 6 can get a free boost action as long as he moves at 2, 3, or 4 speed for 28 points. It does have an EPT, so I think the obvious thing, first thing to look at there is possibly a VI. Put it up to pilot skill 8 when it has that built-in repositioning there. It could be very useful. I think this is probably something that primed thrusters is definitely going to.
And we'll come on to
We
that
will come
in
to
a little
that.
bit.
Yes. Already spoiling the surprises.
Whatever. It's definitely a thing.
He was primed and ready, you know.
I think that was another one.
Maybe just a little bit.
Add to that fun counter.
But no, it makes so much sense for the pilot being able to get those free boosts even when he, say, does a K-turn or Talon roll, or something like that.
Absolutely.
And if you also add in vectored thrusters, then you can get a boost barrel roll combo without having to take a stress from it, which, in terms of being able to get into exactly where you want him to be, that's
They kind of
pretty
self-built stressless arc dodger.
Essentially, yeah, on an X-wing.
Yeah.
Which is,
the other thing I'd like, if you do try and do a push build with him and whack on a, what's the barrel roll new modification?
Vector thrusters.
Vector thrusters. Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
That's exactly what you said. Yeah,
That
no,
is
sorry.
exactly. That is literally what
I am
said.
totally paying attention.
Good.
It's good,
fantastic.
It's a rebel build your own soon tier fell at that point.
Yeah, although Pike skill 8, although also able to K-turn and
Yeah.
still move,
Yeah.
which
Is it a free boost action? Oh,
it's free boost action.
You'd need to use another upgrade to take the stress later to be able to get your actions. But yeah.
No. It's the primed thrusters, which lets you take boost or barrel roll actions as when you're stressed up to 3 stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he can still do that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
which is later. But whatever.
Indeed.
We will get there when we get there. And our lovely thing has already put it up for you. You know.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah.
Stop spoiling it. Get away. Move it.
And for that's 28 points, so just 3 more than Jess.
Yep.
For another 3 pilot skill,
Yeah.
an EPT,
That's pretty decent,
which
actually.
I think
To be
makes a lot
fair.
of sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Totally.
good price point for it.
Yeah. And I think the key thing is it's also very action efficient. One thing the
Yes,
Rebels
very.
have often been criticised for
Is
is their lack of
actions.
stacking actions,
Yeah.
and he actually does it very well indeed.
Yeah. I don't know. I
You
think.
can
I
kind
think.
of like I said, you can boost barrel roll without taking a stress.
I think
Yeah.
we're starting to see more ships that do that because we just had the Arc 170. Nora Wexley has now got some combos that can allow her to do a lot more action economy.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're starting to see more Rebel ships be able to take on that now and do a
Yes.
lot more with that.
And in general, you're able to get more actions with less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that reminds me very much of is the new TIE Defender title, the X7 title. That also has a very similar type of synergy. You get a free something
action
if
when-
you move a certain speed.
Yeah. Worth noting, this is slower, functions slower than the Defender title. Although the actual action that it is for then makes you go faster. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a very fast X-wing. It's
Yeah.
an incredibly fast X-wing.
Absolutely.
So
Going back to Jess briefly,
Yeah.
not probably the best pair up between the two, though, is it?
No,
Because obviously
it's
Jess
not
wants to
quite
stay. Jess wants to probably stay
Well-
with her team, whereas.
I'm actually going to disagree here.
Okay, no, I'm quite happy.
Think
to hear
about
that.
it. Jess, when she's
Yeah.
modifying her attack and defense rolls because she's next to Snap, she can boost for her action as well.
Yeah,
she can, yeah.
Yeah, she can.
So as long as you're willing to rely on Snap Wexley being next to Jess, Jess can actually partner him very nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get a re-roll apiece.
And then again, if you go back to having also Aaron Kraken, Jess can focus, end up next to Aaron Kraken, who shoots and then allows Jess to boost up to Snap.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
continue getting that bonus.
more combos.
Yeah, definitely.
Rebels are very good at that. We've
yeah.
sort of established this.
So yeah, but I think the key thing in those areas as well, the opportunity is also their flanking shots. And one of the weaknesses of having the boost on most X-wings so far is without push the limit, they haven't ever had a second action to do something with.
No.
This does.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, for example, I can very much see sort of coming in at an angle, trying and outflanking your opponent, boosting and still getting that focus token or that target
Yeah.
lock, so that you're modifying your attack rolls while they can't shoot you.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of arc dodging in there, which I think is a great idea for the T-70.
Cool. Shall we continue moving on with the third unique pilot, Mr.
Next
Gareth?
up, we've got Nien Num. 29 points for Pilot Skill 7. An extra 1 point over Snap. I think it's nicely pointed there. With an EPT, torpedo, astromech and a tech upgrade. Given Nien Num's ability, I think it's all in the upgrades that you put on him. The ability is when you receive a stress token, if there's an enemy ship inside your firing arc at range 1, you may discard that stress token. So you effectively, as long as you can get to that range 1 engagement, you just can't be stressed out.
Absolutely.
That opens up things like push the limit. Like if you push the limit into range 1 and then that you just don't get stressed out for pushing.
Yep.
You've got so many different options with Nien Nunb, but it's all in the upgrades, I think.
Yeah.
I would probably entirely agree with you on that one. It's one of those things that if you're playing Nien, you want to know kind of what you want to do with him.
Yeah.
And then you then have a pairing up of things to go with him. You want to really push forward that tactic.
I've already had an idea to pair it with one of my favourite upgrades from this box, so I'll get to that when I come to it.
Yep.
And then it is something that you can do quite a lot of different things with. So there's not. I don't think we're going to see sort of a standard Nien Nunb build with this so much. I think there's going to be a few varying things that can all actually
with all of the
T-70
T-70 pilots. I don't think there's going to be a standard build. Like even now with the pilot skill 8 Poe, you don't see sort of one build that governs all builds. You see different Poes everywhere.
Yeah,
and I think that's the same with all T-70s and all of the pilots. Is they can just be built so differently for each different person that wants to fly them.
Yeah, which is fantastic. It's nice to see them giving us flexibility and for people to customise the ships in the way that they want to see. So, yeah. Excellent. So, things that occur to me. So, we've already mentioned about push the limit on that one.
Yes.
There is another Rebel stress causer, probably the most common Rebel stress causer at all.
The stress bot R3A2, one of my favourite droids. If you're at range 1, you put a stress on them, you take a stress, discard it. So you're effectively getting a free stress bot.
Absolutely, yeah. Another thing that occurs to me, what about elusiveness? Now, elusiveness, you force an opponent to re-roll an attack dice at the cost of a stress for yourself. It's never really been that popular so far because you can
it's
only
a card
ever do
I
it
haven't ever
once.
really looked at.
No, let's face it. I don't think anyone's really ever looked at
Then obviously, if they're not, if you're not going to keep the stress, then
Yeah, so as long as you're in range
it's in
1
that
of
range
someone...
of 2-point EPTs that just I don't.
There's a lot of like different I think 1 and 2 point EPTs.
If I may speak up, there's also opportunists as well as an option.
Yeah, opportunist as well. There's just a lot of things that this opens up to, which is fantastic.
I think in the article, the FFG Sport, they even talked about putting stay on target with Nien Nunb, so you can change your maneuver to make sure you get to that range 1 spot and then just don't get stressed.
Absolutely. And of course, if you're doing that, then why not add yourself a targeting astromech? Get that free target lock in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's another possibility.
There's so many different ways to build it, but it's all in the upgrades for Nien, I think.
Absolutely. He reminds me a little bit of the B-Wing pilot Ipsiarm.
Yes.
Because she actually wants to be stressed, and you generally give her upgrades that will actually stress her out, because she then benefits from what she's actually doing there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is that Sam or Keen Firelander?
Ken Farlander's the one who
Keen
can
kind
spend
of-
stress
Yeah.
for an attacking focus, essentially.
So they do it different ways.
Yeah.
The B-Wings want that stress on them so they can do things with it, whereas he just says, nah, I don't mind. But then it still means you give him things to stress him out.
And-
Yeah.
Absolutely. So plenty of options there, plenty of possibilities, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, plenty of possibilities indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the final ship of the T-70s. The long awaited, I think, Pilot Skill 9 Poe Dameron. And if you don't know what he does, while attacking or defending, if you have a focus token, you may spend that focus token to spend one of your focus results, to change it to a hit or a crit, hit or a evade result.
You don't spend the token.
You do not spend the token. No, you don't spend. If you're the focus token, you can just keep it. Sorry, I'm thinking about the astromech at the same time. That's why.
It has perpetual refocus.
33 points though. So compared to the old Poe Dameron, who I think was 31, it is 2 more points for 1 extra pilot skill.
Well, effectively,
Which is
going up to the pilot skill 9 is
a bit of a
very
different,
important, especially in today's
essentially
meta.
what they have done is got you another 2 points for effectively keeping your EPT slot open.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
That was always going to be closed off before, or most of the time pushing him up to pilot skill 9 or 10. But now you don't have to.
No.
You don't have to VI him. So you can do other things.
Well, you can still VI him if you want to. I mean, then
pilot
he becomes
skill
a pilot skill 11, you know.
And then he'd only be rivaled by VI Vader, fat
Yeah,
and with
you
the
know,
eye.
suddenly
yeah.
he's going to the territories of the higher guys, which is
Yeah.
kind of what everyone argued anyways he should have been in the first place.
There are very, very
being-
few
being
pilots that
that-
are capable
that-
of getting up there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that came from the Force Awakens core set, where the old Poe Dameron came from, was released before the actual
the film, yeah.
It was.
So
Yeah.
it was released with what information FFG had been given.
Well, you got to remember the
Yes.
original core set, the highest pilot skill in the original core set was actually Luke. You had to
Yes,
buy the X-Wing expansion if you wanted Wedge,
Yeah.
which was the pilot skill 9 one.
Yeah.
So being that obviously now that we've got, so they had to obviously do the same sort of thing where they were like, well, we
Yeah.
only want to put in this
Right.
higher pilot skill as well, but we still want something that's from the film. So we've got Poe Dameron, we'll just whack him there. I'm sure it'll be fine. But
Yep, raising those stakes.
raising
Pushing
those stakes,
yeah.
Pushing those limits.
with also updated artwork as well to see that he's now in he is in an actual black squadron. I'd like to also point out as well.
I really like the alternate art.
I'd like to point out, technically, the way I see it is the blue one was the one where he was first in it before because it got destroyed, didn't it?
It did indeed. We never got to see him fly that one.
Yeah, on Django. We got to
That's what
see
it
the little
was going
turret
to
that come out the
fly.
bottom and shoots.
Yes.
But other than that, we never really saw him fly it. So I'd like to think that that was the Pilot Skill 8 one. So he lost that ship, and then he got in his
He got his new one.
He got his brand new one, you know. So
Yeah.
Which was shiny and
Shiny
just
and
come
raw,
out
yeah.
factory.
Yeah, okay. So
Is-
what occurs to you with that elite pilot talent slot free? He no longer has to.
he
start
doesn't have to
use his
now.
slot
Yeah,
to
I mean,
different
you could
pilot
still
skill.
whack the VI on him.
No,
It's still,
could.
it's if you want to try and go for that initiative bit, it's still worth it. I don't think he needs to anymore now.
I think
I
you're
don't
right.
think he needs to. It opens it up to have stuff like Predator.
Predator is a key
which is
possibility.
fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Push
can
the limit
push
in
the limit
some
as well.
circumstances,
Yeah,
yep.
fantastic. Another thing.
Crack shot.
Definitely.
Or even in most situations, I'd probably say for Snap as well, because it's a very fast ship, the T-70. You're going to be flying off ahead or flying round to arc dodge people, and you're not going to be with the rest of your team all the time.
He can
Something
handle
like
himself on his
yes.
own.
something like Lone Wolf will come in amazing on him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And being up at that new tier in Pilot Skill 9, up with Soon TFL, Vader, shooting before the Inquisitor even,
Yeah.
is so important.
Yeah, definitely things for rerolls, because with his ability, he wants to be getting exactly one focus result and then some hits.
Absolutely.
So rerolls to make sure you can keep one focus
Yeah.
and exactly one
Yeah.
focus,
Yes.
and no more.
I mean, you could get more, but then you
could get
don't
more, but you don't want that.
you don't really want it. You want the
You want one.
perfect 3 every time.
Yeah.
Really. Let's
Yeah.
face it.
Yeah.
Perfect 4 if you range band 1.
Yes,
But
Absolutely.
let's face it, I don't think he's giving up that droid anytime soon.
No,
The ability to regen shields.
R5P9.
It just-
R5P9, the
It
ability
just
to regen,
fits.
it just fits with him so well. It's such a good little combo.
It does,
Yeah.
which is almost a pity because BB-8 should be his
Yeah,
droid,
BB.
shouldn't it?
I still think BB-8
I
is still a good
should.
shout. I think.
I have seen a couple of people still playing the old BB-8 Push the Limit Poe.
Yeah.
Like
So the
4 actions a turn.
Yeah.
Get-
So the
think-
thing about
I
BB-8
think-
is BB-8 is when you reveal a green maneuver, of which there are 5 on the T-70 style.
Get a free-
You can perform a free boost or barrel roll action.
just barrel roll, isn't it?
I think it's boost
It's
or
just
barrel.
barrel roll.
It's
Is it
barrel.
barrel?
It's
Just a barrel, my
just barrel.
apologies.
However,
Which, again, it's the only
But then
way
you don't
that
normally have a barrel
you don't normally
roll.
have a barrel roll on the
Yeah.
T-70.
but
Absolutely.
the cool thing about that is you can actually push the limit off
of
that
that.
barrel roll.
Because
And
it's
then
an
you-
action
You
before
then,
your movement.
yes, then
Then
you
you do
can
the
perform
green.
the green action, and then you perform your regular action.
Clear
so
the
immediately
stress.
you've got a stress-free guy
And
who
3
can
actions
and 3
performs.
actions on him, which
Now,
is
yeah.
I want to say,
fantastic.
with the new T-70 title, I think this is going to start seeing a lot more, because that will
Yes.
also get rid of any red target lock token you might
Yeah.
have.
So
Yes.
speaking
someone
of
like
which,
Mega Leader is going
Speaking
to
of
really hate that
which-
game.
yeah. So speaking of which, shall we take a look at the new title?
We
Because
will.
this
In
is
fact,
perfect
this is perfect for
designed
timing
the
for that.
T-70.
I'm going to go grab that. We would normally look at the upgrades later, but I think looking at the titles now is a good idea.
I think because it's
coming with
linked to
him
this specific ship.
is the Black One title. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is.
Absolutely.
T-70 X-wing only. You can only equip it if you are if you cannot equip it if it's pilot skill 6 or lower. So currently, very few like 3 pilots can equip this.
So we're talking Poe,
Poe,
both versions.
Yeah,
And
And
then Minion.
Snap can't equip it unless you have
it's
VI
pilot
or
skills,
adaptability.
yes. Pilot skill 6 or lower.
You need to be at least.
So you have to
skill
have
7.
you have to whack a adaptability or a thing on him to.
And then you can't. Then you won't have.
Worth
no, then you
noting,
will,
adaptability can't, because adaptability, because it's plus or minus 1, only takes place once you go to the game.
Yes, this is
Yes.
true.
It
Yeah,
has to be VI.
Has to be
It has to be
VI.
veteran instincts, yes.
Which,
But-
as I've said, Snap can do can really help with
absolutely.
VI.
So,
it's not.
to give him what it does, go for it.
After you perform a boost or barrel action, you may remove one enemy target lock from a friendly ship at range 1. This can include yourself.
Absolutely.
You can output this card if you're pilot skill 6 or lower. What a
And-
fantastic ability.
Now, there are only a few ways that a T-70 can actually get access to barrel roll. One of them is the vectored thrusters we've already talked about, modification that came in the ARC 170 box. However,
Another
the
one
key
is
thing
BB-8.
about that is that it takes up your modification slot, which means that you can't equip auto thrusters or integrated astromech. Another one is expert handling.
Yes.
Gives you a stress for that hardly seems worth it.
Yeah,
And the last one is called BB-8.
we were just talking about this, it's now enforcing you going, you could do the old list of things, but, Poe Dameron with
Yeah.
BB-8.
Absolutely.
Worth
Go
noting-
movie!
Worth noting that the title does also work on the boost.
Yes.
Which the T-70 has already.
So if you're
And again,
thinking...
works very
yeah.
nicely with Snap's native ability.
Yes.
If
But
you
then
VI
it
him,
means that you're having to run pilot skill 8 with a 29-point snap before you even think about title and other things.
I will bear in mind this is actually a 1-point title as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you will be spending an additional point to play it. So I mean, Poe Dameron is 34. Snap is going to be
30 at that
30
point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
But if you think about the combination, Push the Limit, the Black One title, and BB-8. So BB-8, you will agree maneuver. BB-8 lets you do a barrel roll.
Yep.
Then you push the limit,
off it, yeah.
get a target lock or a
Focus.
boost or a focus. Then you do your green, and then you get another action there.
Yep.
And if one of your extra actions is
Boost or
you've got 2
barrel
or
roll,
3,
because let's
is
face it, you're already
boost.
barrel rolling off BB-8
Yeah.
anyways, which means because you can barrel into the range 1 or you can boost into the range 1 as well.
Absolutely.
Of your friend. As soon as you've done that, bang, whack that target lock off.
Yeah.
Get that rid of that.
and again on PS now at PS9 makes that an incredibly strong counter to Omega Leader.
Oh
Yes.
yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
For you can't.
You're moving afterwards,
You're moving
shooting
you're
first,
moving-
and
Specific-
Omega Leader now doesn't have a target lock.
It's specifically the moving after because it means that Omega Leader can't re-establish that target lock.
Yes.
You have just.
It's a
cancel
way
out its
of
ability.
breaking that fix of I'm going to Omega Leader this one ship and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's a way of getting rid of that now.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so far, there have actually been very few things that actually allow you to break a target
That is
lock.
the
Yes.
point. That it
There's
works
also
on
another.
because
Yes,
the,
I said this.
As,
Thank you, Thing.
The thing I was just pointing
Yes,
out to
we
us,
were
it
just
does
pointing out.
also work on yourself.
It is also work on yourself. So even if you don't have anyone near you, you can just get rid of it
Yes,
yourself.
you
You
can
know,
just
get rid of it.
Absolutely. The other thing is, the big change that we've seen in the last 6 to 9 months that we've never seen before in X-Wing, it's the rise of ordnance.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Obviously,
They made so many fixes to ordnance.
Extra
that
munitions.
They made ordnance
Yeah.
a really big thing again.
yeah.
yeah, and guidance chips in particular,
Yeah.
and you never saw ordnance before. Now ordnance is there. Now, some people take Deadeye, but some people do also rely on those target
We
locks.
used to take that eye.
Some people used to
Deadeye
take Deadeye.
lots.
Yes. Not feeling pictures
I-
about that at all, are you?
I still think that ordnance is a very big thing, and I don't think this is the last we've seen of Deadeye. Anyways, I think
No.
we're going to
No.
see a lot
It's
more
gonna work.
smaller ships using Deadeye. Maybe,
Nearer down south.
obviously, we've
Nira
Foxes
hasn't
a
been
lot.
hit by it at all.
Nira has
Nira's
been hit.
amazing.
Nira's
Yeah.
great. The Wardens sadly can't take it, but they were also a good shout for
Yeah.
Ordnance. I mean, in our last
So-
escalation, our last Hangar Bay tournament, we saw how
Absolutely.
well they performed with
Yep.
stuff like that.
And
But yes,
Miranda,
anyway,
Miranda Doney with homing missiles is a
Yes.
very popular build.
But she
for
can't take Deadeye.
ordnance. She can't take Deadeye, so she's got to rely on that target lock. But if you have a pilot skill 9 Poe Dameron with the Black One title, and he just happens to boost or barrel roll thanks to BB-8,
suddenly you just got rid of the way they can use munitions.
she's going to be
It's
very
fantastic.
lucky
Yes.
ever to get a shot on him
Yeah.
with that missile.
Hmm.
Okay, or on someone else he's flying next to.
Yes.
That's the key thing. Doesn't have to be him. It can be anyone that he's within range 1 of.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
really going to help the rebels deal with munitions, which I think again is then going to start helping the rebels bring in lists that don't necessarily have bigs.
Yes,
Which I've wanted for a
no.
very long time.
Absolutely.
Or even
Biggs rebels.
if you're pairing the Black One title on a T-70 next to Biggs, if someone wants to ordnance you, use the Black One title to strip one of those target locks.
Or even
off,
two, if you've got BB-8.
which now means
Yes.
that they're down to primary weapons, which means they have to shoot at Biggs.
Yeah, and it's worth noting with the recent change to Biggs, it didn't affect Deadeye. If they have Deadeye, they have to target Biggs anyway because they don't have a target lock on another ship.
Yeah.
So it means you can fly think people without Biggs, but it also means that Biggs actually gets very good as well.
Yes.
True.
Well, he
little
never wasn't good.
But yeah, he actually gets he gets more boost.
He gets a boost. Yeah.
You can strip those target locks off Biggs if he's the one who's being targeted at the moment as well. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly go to our thing. Is there any questions so far based on any people asking anything about the set so far?
Yeah,
Nothing in
thoughts,
the Twitch
builds.
chat. There was a few things. Nothing really. No.
No,
So,
nothing yet. Okay, that's
yeah.
fine. Well, if you
Okay.
guys do have questions, throw them at us. We will obviously answer them as best we can.
Try to, at
Try
least.
to, obviously. But we're just learning about. We are learning most of this about stuff. Also, coming up on the 19th of November is our Athena Games Escalation Tournament. Very exciting to be hosting that yet again. Please come down. It starts at so obviously get here by 10:30. Starts at 11. 60, 90, 120, 150. Keep the same list sort of every time, but adding onto it each time. It's a fantastic day. The format is great. It's always a good laugh. You always see some really wild things happening.
Yes,
Absolutely.
especially in round one where points are so tight.
Yes.
People are trying to fit
Yep.
the ships they want.
60 points isn't a huge
60
amount.
points isn't a
60
huge
points
amount.
with- and
You'd be
you have two
surprised. You can also register. You don't have to come down on the day. You can register on our website as well. I believe we're selling tickets on. Are we selling tickets
No,
online?
we're being told- right?
No, we're
No.
not selling tickets online. But registration does close at 10:30 in the
On the
morning. Store opens at 10 o'clock on the day. So get down at 10. Get yourself in. You can pre-book as well. You can actually pre-book, I think, as well. So come down, pre-book yourself. If you can't, pre-book, come in on the day. Get yourself set up. It's a fantastic day.
It is indeed, and it's worth saying. I think you see very few escalation matches streamed online. We will be streaming this one online.
Okay,
with
we'll
our
be trying.
Host, the thing.
We'll be trying to stream it. As I should also reference, normally after these boxings, we do a game to show off the new stuff.
Yep.
We are unable to do that today due to technical difficulties. We will hopefully have those technical difficulties resolved by escalation, so we can have a tournament being streamed for you guys.
And apologise for the inconvenience in the meantime.
Cool.
We
Okay.
do have one question come up, which is: is there a viable list in a post-strike team?
A post-strike team.
All T-70 unique pilots.
I think
well,
so.
let's.
Yes.
I think there's a strategy with that. Let's have a look. We've got 33 points to Poe. You've got 25 for Jess. Nian and Wexley. We've got 29 and 28. You are very stretched for points.
But I think it's doable.
It's
you'd
doable,
be-
but you're very stretched for
70, I think you
points.
could put
I'm going to do some
together.
quick math quickly. You guys keep going.
I think
there.
Yeah.
you'd be pretty stretched, but you could fit three of them. I can't remember
think
some
you
of
can.
the old pilots.
And that's I think is where Jess comes in handy because
Yes.
she's so cheap
Yeah.
and yet so useful for that ability. It's a point more than a normal T-70 X-wing.
You cannot. You cannot fit all four of them in there. It is 115
but maybe
points to
fitting
fit them
three
all.
of them.
Um,
you could,
yeah, you can fit
and you
three.
get some upgrades.
You can definitely fit three. You can
Yep.
get some upgrades in there. I would probably take Jess for definite, just because she's the cheapest.
Absolutely.
She's
And
cheapest.
and that ability is
Just goes well with.
It is.
Small
It's a
strike
really
force.
good
And
ability.
that's,
Um,
that's only
dice on
using the
attack and
pilots out
defense.
of this box.
Out of
Yeah.
the four, I would probably say drop Snap.
if you're doing a
he wants to be on
strike
his own.
force,
Because
I
he
think
can't,
yes.
if you want to do strike force, I
definitely.
mean, we already discussed that Snap, although he can be with other things, the other two just work better with a group
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Poe would do well being able to black one, getting rid of the target locks. Jess works well because she's re-rolling stuff, and
Absolutely.
then Nian being able to stress for his allies to be able to suddenly go in and
Doing
dagger
whatever-
everything. I
yeah.
think that would be the best way you would be able to do that.
Yeah, but I think that would be a good option. I think you would see some definite possibilities there. Okay.
Let us move